The girl sits in a rough wooden chair and stares out the window. Days have passed since the shocking meeting with her mother, and she has yet to fully grasp the reality of the situation. But after speaking with the doctor, it was decided that she would stay at the hospital, at least for a little while. A letter was drafted to explain the circumstances and sent to her school. And against all odds, the doctor's kind and continuous treatment begins to have an effect. Her mother's mind begins to age, moving from that of a child to that of an adult. And though it is a strange and bewildering time for the girl, she sits by her mother's side through it all. At first, it seemed as though there was no hope. But after a week, her expression changes. It becomes more mature, and she begins to speak of romance. Over the span of a few weeks, the girl watches her mother gradually grow up. She now has the mental age of a young adult. Her mother loved origami as a child. Her mother hated bugs as a teenager. Her mother still hates carrots as an adult. The woman before her is always soft, always kind. But it is not the sort of kindness a mother shows her daughter. One day, her mother awakens in a terrible state. Her voice is the picture of confusion and helplessness. "Stay with me, Grandma. Please stay with me." The girl meets her mother's gaze calmly. She summons her courage. "Of course," she finally replies. "I'll be right here." Her mother has never called her anything but Grandma. Perhaps in her mind, she is not even a mother yet. Which means that, in her mind, the girl does not actually exist. All of this lies heavy on the girl's mind. I hated my mother, and I thought she hated me. Did I ever want to be close to her? And did she ever want to be close to me? But the answers remain always out of reach. Another week goes by, and her mother's condition takes a turn for the worse. Her arms are as weak and thin as the branches of the fruit tree outside the hospital. She slips in and out of consciousness. The doctor pulls the girl aside and says he does not expect her to live through the night. So the girl stays by her side through the long dark, holding her wrinkled hand all the while. The only light is the dim glow of an indifferent moon. It illuminates her mother's pained expression as she moans in her sleep. Suddenly, her eyelids twitch open. "Do you want some water?" asks the girl. Her mother shakes her head. She opens her mouth as if to speak. Something is clearly troubling her. "I have to talk to you, Grandma," she says finally. Though weak, her mature voice carries the air of a childhood secret. The girl merely nods, waiting for her to continue. She begins to speak of children, and how conflicted she is by the idea. "I don't want a baby," she says. There it is. There it is. Her mother had never wanted her. Not ever. If her mother notices the pained expression and lowered head of her daughter, she pays it no mind and continues to speak. She tells of how she began having problems when she was a young woman. After a while, she finally sought medical help, and in time, she was diagnosed with a mental illness. It was this diagnosis that caused her husband to abandon her. The girl raises her head. She had no idea about this, about any of it. She had spent but a short time with her mother and had not been nearly old enough to understand the truth of complex adult affairs. Even now, the story is so complicated that it threatens to blow away from her at any moment. She talks of how her illness will eat away at her, how it will change her, how it will hurt her, and everyone she cares for. She worries about this. She worries without ceasing or pause. If she were to ever have a child, she would surely hurt them as well. Despite how very much, she loves the child that lies inside her now. Wet heat drips down the girl's cheeks. It falls to the floor like slow rain as she listens to her mother's confession. The girl's anger and hatred finally begin to escape her body in the form of small drops at the corners of her eyes. Finally, her mother sighs and lays back. She closes her eyes. Every worry of a life, every worry of a million lifetimes, seems to have contained itself in the dark circles beneath her eyes. The room grows silent as the girl squeezes her hand. And for the first time since she came to the hospital, for the first time in so long, she says, "Mom." Dawn breaks after an endless night. It is the girl's birthday. Bright, cheerful sunlight pours over her hometown. The girl blocks it out with one unsteady hand as she stares out the window. She has changed since she came here. Grown. Matured. Today, the girl's birthday will be celebrated in the form of a farewell. She dons a pure white dress of mourning and prepares to see her mom for the very last time.
Kill them all.
Don't waste my time.